What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today we are taking a look at this, the Mercedes-AMG GLE 53 4MATIC Plus Coupe. It is the more sporty version of the GLE, of course. It looks a bit more sporty, it has the sloping roofline, it looks a bit more aggressive, a bit more bulky, and it is the entry-level AMG. So today I'm going to show you around it. We'll take a look at this beautiful spec and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Now, the GLE Coupe actually is quite a bit different than the regular GLE, and that is because they really wanted to take the two apart, because I think it speaks to a completely different audience as well. The GLE is very practical, it's soft, it's quite friendly, you can spec it in a very friendly way, and it looks like really good. I think I really like the GLE. I think it's an amazing car, especially, you know, the 63. Absolutely magic with that V8, super comfy. Spec it with a bit of wood inside, go for a nice classy color, small wheels, and you've got an amazing like farmer SUV. If you have the GLE Coupe and go for a spec like this, you know, with the night package, a lot of black, big grille, 22-inch wheels in this hyacinth red, it is a completely different car and it speaks to a completely different audience. So that is quite interesting, and they actually changed a lot more than I thought. So the wheelbase is actually shorter on the GLE Coupe by 60 millimeters. I think to enhance the driving, you know, to make the car a little bit more dynamically capable, but also the steering rack is quicker. They changed the suspension, so it is quite firm. Even in comfort mode, it is quite firm. It also has the E-active body control, well, powered by the 48-volt system to eliminate as much roll as possible, and it's got different gear ratios as well. So the two cars have been taken apart, and that was mainly down to the fact that customers of the previous GLE Coupe said that it didn't drive the way it looked. So it looks very sporty, it looks low slung for an SUV, and yeah, it didn't really deliver driving wise. So that is why they did that. Now, I do have to say that it does hurt like the everyday comfort of this SUV, which for me personally, I think you should stay away from that. But I do like the way that they took them apart so far, and that they said, okay, this is the more sporty looking one, let's make it, you know, sporty driving as well. So at the front, very aggressive with the Panamericana grille and an absolutely huge Mercedes logo there. Bit of black down there as well, and then we've got the optional 22-inch wheels. As I said, as standard, it gets the 21-inch 285 section tires at the front with Yokohama Advan Sport tires. Not the best tire for this weather, I have to say. It is, you know, a bit slippery. And then at the rear we've got huge 325 section tires, absolutely massive. That is a very wide tire. But I do love the little side step here. Quite like that. That is a bit of old school Mercedes. Rear lights different compared to a regular GLE as well. And then of course the 53 gets the quad exhaust in black as well. And then of course you've got the coupe roofline here. It does hurt your practicality and the passenger headroom, but still it is quite a big boot. And you can remove this, put the seats down, and you still have a lot of space. It's just that the space you've got, it is a little bit less, but it's also a little bit less practical, the shape of it. But it's still, you know, a very spacious car. So the engine, let's check out this puppy. Ooh, bit of carbon. This is the 3-liter inline 6 with 2 chargers, one turbocharger on the exhaust system and another electric supercharger, basically powered by the 48-volt system to eliminate a little bit of turbo lag. Now, It delivers 435 horsepower with a little EQ boost of 22 horsepower, and then it's got 520 newton meters of torque. But it weighs 2200 something kilos, so still 0 to 100 not that quick, 5.3 seconds, and a top speed of 250 kilometers an hour. But yeah, I'm not sure about the drivetrain. It's linked to a 9-speed automatic gearbox, which is a bit nervous sometimes, doesn't really know what to do. And yeah, it feels slightly underpowered for an AMG, I have to say. I know it's an entry-level AMG, but it is priced like an AMG. It is hella expensive. And it doesn't really have the power to back it up. If you compare it to a BMW X6 M50i with a V8 and 530 horsepower, it's the same price basically, which is kind of crazy. That is a big performance gap, and you've got a V8. The powertrain is much better. The drivetrain in general, the automatic is much better. It handles better, it sounds better. I mean, yeah, it's very difficult to not go for that BMW, at least if you compare them objectively, just looking at price and specs and stuff like that. But I think that a lot of people will think that this car looks a lot better, especially in this spec. It does look very good. So is it worth this badge? Yeah, that is the question of the day. I mean, there are a lot of them on the steering wheel as well, on the floor mats, on the doors, on the screens. A lot of AMG badges. So interior wise, I do quite like this car. It is a very nice interior. I think it has a very good combination of luxury and like utilitarianism. It all feels very chunky. It feels like a proper SUV. You've got a high center console here. You've got a high dashboard. Everything is quite, you know, straight up. And everything is very sturdy. And then you've got some wood here, which is very nice. Super soft Napa leather, which is optional, but very nice. So that is a very big plus for this car. I think this interior is really good. This steering wheel is optional as well, with Napa leather and nice little AMG stuff right there. Burmester audio system also optional. For me, this is where it does win against the BMW X6 or an Audi Q8 or something like that. I think this is the most SUV-ish interior, which is very nice. Now, if we turn on the ignition, and then we can start up two ways. So if we just hit the start button, it uses the 48 volt system. So it's got like a starter generator, which is electric as well. So if you start it up, it just goes. It's very quick. But if you want a bit more drama starting up your car, you can hold the right pedal and then hit the button. So you've got a bit of sound. Not a lot. Very civilized, a bit of straight six sound. Now this is all basically the same as in the regular GLE. The only difference of course is that you have that sloping roofline limiting passenger headroom in the rear. But one issue I have with this car is that it is so much more expensive than the regular one, and I don't really see how you're supposed to justify that price difference. It's like 12,000 euros, the basic car, the GLE 350, compared to a coupe. It's 12,000 euros in the Netherlands. It's like 108 or 120, and I don't really get that difference. Other manufacturers don't have that big of a price increase. So the thing they really tried is to make this car more sporty, to make it handle, you know, like a smaller car. That's also why they went for that smaller wheelbase. It's why they went for a quicker steering rack, to make it feel a bit more direct. But I think the only thing that happened is that they took a lot of the feedback out of the steering because you don't really feel what is happening. It's quite heavy as well. And the suspension, even in comfort, is so firm that you lose all like SUV capability. If you hit a speed bump in this thing for the first time, you're like, oh my god, it's like an M2, a BMW M2. That stiff, or a C63 AMG. So yeah, I don't really understand that. I think they might have taken it a bit too far in that respect. It will stay very flat. I'll say that. I'll give them that. It is very, very flat in the corners because of that E-active body control. They did a really good job on that. So let's do a little launch. We've got ESP right here. Put that in sport mode. Foot on the brake. Full throttle. And there we go. You get a very aggressive shift. So it's not really launch control, but it does notice, it does sense that you want to do a fast launch. And it's supposed to do 5.3 seconds, and that is also what we got in our measurements. So that is good. So let's hit the Autobahn. Full throttle. It picks up pretty well, but as I said, it does feel slightly underpowered for an AMG. It feels a bit limited. It feels like it's not delivering everything it could be delivering, and that is quite a weird feeling. But we'll see how close we can get to the top speed, which is 250 kilometers an hour. So we are in Sport Plus mode, but we can hit this button right here to switch to comfort. Doesn't work. So that's 260 on the speedo, and that's a limiter as well. Why is this not working? Ah, there it is. Okay, so comfort. For the suspension, everything else is in Sport Plus. Let's find out what that is like. So performance-wise, it is not really convincing, this car. It really isn't. As I said, you can compare it to an X6 M50i price-wise, but also like in general. That car is way, way, way quicker than this car. You should actually look at the X5 45e to get close to this performance. So 100 to 200, this car did a 15.59, 15.6, and an X5 45e we measured at 60.3. So 0.7 of a second, just not that much, but it gets worse because if you compare them at the quarter mile or half mile performance, they're about the same in performance. So yeah, that is really, really not great of this. So that is really, really not great for this entry-level AMG. You compare it to a 45e, which is, you know, doesn't pretend to be sporty at all, and it's about as quick. So yeah, not great. Really what you end up with, or the conclusion I end up at is you really have to want an AMG, and you really have to love the aesthetics of this coupe. I mean, it is a lot more expensive than the regular GLE, which I think is a better car, and the AMG bit in this car just is not that convincing. I'll give them the fact that they really took the coupe and the regular SUV apart, and that they do feel like two quite different cars, which I quite like. I like that approach, you know, you have a coupe, so at least it sort of handles like a coupe, but in essence, you know, everything combined, I'm not really convinced that this is the way to go. So that's it for this review. Let me know what you think about this coupe versus regular GLE. Do you prefer this or do you prefer the regular SUV? I'm curious to see. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. If you want to check out another video, you can check out this one, or this playlist of reviews is also available. Thanks for watching. See you at the next one. Bye.